Hey everybody, thanks so much for sticking around. Today's topic is going to be off the chart. It is fire. So do me a favor right now as we're trying to grow this I Need a Man channel. I need you guys to share it and also tag people. A lot of times if you just share it, people won't see it. So tag a girlfriend, tag a cousin, tag a male friend, married, single, or whatever, and have them come on over here and join us for this live stream. Now we have some mini videos coming up as you're waiting on the live stream to come on. So don't go anywhere. Just let this play, and I'll see you in a couple minutes. Ladies, has your dating life consisted of mama's boys that need help, married, non-committal men, or Caspers that ghost you? Have you had a loving relationship and sabotaged it? Are you a resident of no man's land, meaning no man has asked you out since MySpace? Is marriage truly your end goal? If so, everything you've done in your dating life thus far should be erased, like your ex's phone number. This book is aimed at single women who desire traditional marriage, where the man is the head of the household. Desiring to be a wife in this hookup culture will be no easy task. I Need a Man will guide you through the murky waters of the dating jungle on your journey from Miss Independent to Mrs. Proceed with caution. If marriage isn't a goal and you don't need a man and prefer open relationships, sister wives, sugar daddies, friends with benefits, and independence, may the force be with you. There are plenty of books on those subjects. This isn't one of them.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's your girl, Lynn. What's tea? What's tea is I need a man. Ladies, I want to jump on these posts so bad and just be like, y'all get the book, get the book, get the book. You know what? If I hear one more lady talking about where are the good men, men this, men that, never taking a look at yourself, because if you're attracting the same type of man consistently, I don't care what they tell you. Because see, these other folks going to pacify you, okay? They're going to tell you it's all the men, it's not you, okay? No, ma'am. If you're getting the same thing or you're doing the same thing, expecting different results, that is the definition of insanity. I need a man takes a look at some behaviors or some patterns, or maybe even some past traumas that we may have, and pushing that on to men. If we don't take accountability for ourselves and our lives, then we can't expect just magic to happen just to perfect out of the blue. And there is no perfect guy. Okay, so get I Need a Man at all book outlets. It is a great, great book club piece to have. And so I love to come by your book club and let's talk about
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's your girl, Lynn. What's T? What's T is I need a man. Listen, there's been this conversation going around on social media, and I'm like, girl, what is up with this? So these women are like, you know what? I'm not about to be cleaning and doing all this because I'm not a maid. And I'm like, wait, hold on, girl. As a grown woman, if you live alone, you cook every day for yourself. I hope so. You clean your house, you keep the house, you have the house the way you want to. And so it's not like, I'm sorry, are you made for yourself? If you're a single mom, you're doing these things for your kid, are you made for your kids? So what I'm not understanding, ladies, is all this aggression and this hostility when somebody, when a man say he wants a woman to cook and keep the house clean. As far as I know, the house is the woman's. That's her domain. That's her fragrance. That's her atmosphere. I don't want no man cleaning up the house for me. That don't mean just drop his drawers anywhere. But the house is that's your essence, right? When you're in your home, you're supposed to serve your guests. You're supposed to walk in your door. So what's the big deal about serving your man? I don't get where some of these attitudes is coming from, ladies. Some of this stuff doesn't make sense. Some of y'all got some valid arguments on some other things, but this right here, because again, if you're a grown woman, you're doing this stuff every day anyway. And I want my house my way. But it's the man house too. Yeah, but this is her essence. This is the woman's, just like the yard, it's like the man's essence or the barbecue or whatever, right? All these gender roles. I know you darn right it's gender roles, okay? You don't want to do gender role, go on over there somewhere, child. This ain't what I Need a Man is about. Peace. All righty. All right. We get it together. Everybody can. I hear myself echoing again. All right. Sharice, your camera is not on. Everybody mute for 1 second. Everybody mute for 1 second. Okay. I don't hear it now. All right. Hi, guys. Hi. God, there I go again. Who's on? Hang on. Let's see here. I got 2 streams going on. Let me stop this screen here. So maybe that was it. All right. So we got Jason on. I'm sorry, guys. Give me 1 second. Kevin's not connected. Make sure you get. Okay. All right. Hi, everybody in I Need a Man Land. All right. We have a very hot topic on tonight. And so I suggest right now you tag all your girlfriends, all your guy friends, your cousins, your mama, your daddy, anybody else. Tag your man, tag the person you want to be your man, tag your girl, tag everybody, because this is going to be quite the topic. So the topic at hand, before we get to introducing our illustrious panel. So the topic at hand is we are digging into hookup culture. More importantly, has hookup culture ruined marriage? Has hookup culture ruined relationships? Before we get into clips and all that stuff, let's just go around the room. Just give us your name real quick, and then just tell us, just in no uncertain terms, do you feel like hookup culture, and we know there's several things that have gone into, destroying relationships, but I think this one is way bigger than we think it is. Okay. So, as I'm looking at the screen, Jason looks first to me. So go right ahead, Jason.
My name is Jason, and I think that hookup culture has definitely become the prevailing trend of relationships today. It doesn't look like it's going away anytime soon.
Yeah. So do you, real quick before we get into it, Portia, I hope you can hear now, hon. I hope you can hear now. Before we get into it, Portia said her man divorce is final. Okay, Portia say, girl, my man divorce final. I don't know what y'all talking about. Congrats, Portia. All right, so Jason, do you think though, and we're gonna really get into it. Hey, Kimmy, has it ruined or has it been responsible for the decline of marriage?
I think yeah, to a certain extent it has. People don't really value that kind of relationship anymore, because why deal with a person long term when you can hook up and keep it pushing? As soon as somebody becomes a problem, hook up with somebody else, throw the person away, throw the whole person away.
Right. Exactly. All right. As I'm looking over, Sharice, to me, because I got my big old iMac, so y'all probably, if y'all looking at your phone, you may not see how I see, but I got this big old wide 20-inch computer. So, Sharice, do you think that hookup culture has ruined marriage? We can't hear you, Sharice. Got to unmute your mic.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so yes, I do believe that it has definitely ruined marriage. It has, it's like one of those why buy the cow when you get the milk for free type of a thing. So why get married and deal with all the legalities when we can just live together and do married stuff? So yeah, it has ruined it for sure.
And we got so much, y'all know me. Y'all know I'm the queen of information and research. So that's why I've been kind of bogged down today, trying to, get as much information as I can to present. Kevin Masson-Gill, and he just left. Okay.
So just left.
Yeah. I'm going to go to Danny before I get to Dietrich. Danny, has hookup culture ruined marriage?
I believe so. Like it's sad that like back in the day you would think that like people can get married and they would, take you for all who you are, like your flaws and your good times, and they actually took the vows, literal, like for better or for worse. And now, like Sharice and Jason said, like people just throw the whole person away. Like you don't get no grace from people. You can make one mistake and then that's it. Because there's so many options on Tinder and whatever else, plenty of, all the little places. So they feel like, since they have options, then why not just hook up and keep it going? Which is really sad to me.
And you about to see how sad it is. Kim says, yeah, people want to totally commit it to situationships. And we getting into that too. We are getting into that. All right, my brother all the way down there in Shreveport. I always want to say, put that New Orleans on there, but you ain't in New Orleans. You just want to say New Orleans.
No.
So Dietrich has culture ruined
marriage. I believe so. Can you hear me? Am I coming through clear?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I believe it has. I think that hooking up the sexual aspect of being in a relationship tends to be the center point. That seems to be like the reasoning for a lot of people getting involved in the first place. And the easier it is to get without responsibility to one particular person who can tend to bring a lot of baggage, you tend to get that part out of a person without having to fully commit to everything that connects to that person, the good, the bad, the ugly. So it kind of made it easier for some people, and so we throw a lot of things away. We get what we want, and then the parts that are a little bit harder to deal with, we tend to get a chance to throw those things out the door. So yeah, I definitely believe that it's had an effect on marriage.
Vanessa, you muted.
Okay.
I say, Kevin, like the Lord, you don't know when he coming and going. I think he's having connection issues, so we'll get him. We'll get him when he gets back on, and we're waiting on Mathino. Okay. All right. So of course I got clips and things to play because what I believe in is information, right? We base our perception of life based on our environment only, right? There's 7 billion people on the planet. There's 50 million in the United States. And like, we will literally judge the entire world based on our very small scope of influence, which is about 100, 200, 300 people, right? And we think that's reality, right? And so this is why I like information. Now, of course, even with the information in the studies, does that give us a complete scope? Of course not. But it gives us an idea of what is like going on. So I'm gonna say this so far as information. Since the 60s, marriage in general has been on the decline. What happened in the 60s are 3 or 4 very significant things, according to the studies, that made hookup culture possible. One was the birth control pill. What that meant was that back in the day, a man knew if he had sex with a woman that she could get pregnant, and they didn't play that back in the day. If you got a woman pregnant, you married her. There was not a discussion. Like some of y'all that's millennials or, from Gen Z, that you don't have a clue about that because that's really, that's a maybe 60s, 50s, that thing. But you weren't going to get a man's daughter pregnant and not marry her. That wasn't how it went down. So a man knew in order to have sex with a woman, he pretty much had to marry her or deal with the consequences, right? So you had the birth control pill, which allowed, sex to happen without getting pregnant. You had, now you had the quickie, speedy divorce. You have the quickie, speedy divorce, which allowed people, like y'all said, to throw people away. The stigma started to be, diminished with divorce. And so women were, walking away, and it was primarily women walking away from their families. You had the sexual revolution, which I don't think anybody understands the basis of that. It actually comes from and I'm not going to play that clip. I want to get into that like on my other channels. We're really digging into the history and stuff like that. But what people don't realize is that like with the hippie movement and all that, that came out of, it was inspired by this guy named Aleister Crowley, which a lot of people called him the mark of the beast. He's the one that coined the saying, do as thou wilt, right? He was an occultist, Satanist, all of that. And one of the things he would do in England in the early 1900s, that they would have these mass orgies as a gift to the gods. And so what the people, especially the women, and I'm going to be on the women tonight. I'm going to tell you that right now. I'm going to be on the women tonight because I'm pretty disgusted about where we're going, right, as women. And so what happened with this movement is that they basically were inspired by Aleister Crowley with this whole orgy situation, which you're really sacrificing to the, to the gods. And so you started that movement, and women, oh, it's sexual revolution. No, boo-boo, you doing ritual to the, some of the occult things like that, right? And so then you had the feminist movement. You had all those things happen, plus drugs, so it was almost like, okay, that started the downward spiral of marriage. So I just want to get them few very quick historical things out before we really, really get into it today. And Kevin's gone again. Okay, Kevin is going again. Down there in the comments, what do you guys think? As I'm getting this first clip pulled up, what do you guys think? Has hookup culture? Let me ask the panel this. What do you guys consider hookup culture? What is a hookup to you? What is that? Because, I know we had different names for it back in the day, right? Sharice, what were some of the names we had for it back in the day?
Booty call.
Booty call. One night stand.
Yeah, booty call.
Yeah, one night stand.
What's the other word? God, it was so popular in the 90s. It was popular in the 90s.
Hit it and quit it.
Hit it and quit it. You had the wham. It was another word though. It was another word for that. Oh my God, y'all dating me. Y'all. Let's see. Try and refresh computer. Yeah, Kevin, try to refresh because we really want to. Friends and benefits. That's more of a newer term.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that's the newer term. Situationship, basically anything. And I do want to part of this. What I want to get into, in the B part of this is I want to get into like, have we made hookup and dating the new marriage, right? Because isn't exclusivity a benefit of marriage? I'm just asking. I'm asking, is exclusivity a benefit of marriage? Right?
Absolutely.
Is having a benefit of marriage? So if exclusivity is no longer a benefit of marriage, if having a baby is no longer a benefit of marriage, right? If all of these things are no longer a benefit of marriage, you can kind of see why, and everybody as they get older, even the Aleister Crowley dude, they realize how they messed up and like, oh yeah, I should have got married in my 20s. Now I'm 50 and I'm messed up. You know what I'm saying? We're not going to talk about that right now. But all of these things that used to be like, privy to marriage, like people demand the exclusivity in their dating. Isn't that crazy? Think about it for a minute, y'all. How crazy is that we're demanding when you get up before the judge or whoever you before, the preacher, they say, they give you those vows, forsaking all others. So we forsaking all others and we're dating? Y'all help me out with that real quick before we go to this clip. Are we forsaking others and we're dating? Help me out.
I've heard of people say that somebody is their husband because they live together for such a long time and they're not married. Like people don't, like if you've never been married or if you don't understand what marriage is, like, I mean, you could have been married, but I'm just like, they would not be married and they would say, oh, this is my spouse. And I just think that's ridiculous. Like you have to take the leap if that's what you want to do. And, like you can't say dating is marriage. Like that's not the same thing.
But are we treating it like it? Kevin Massaguillo, are we treating dating now like marriage? Again, we're demanding exclusivity. We having kids. We getting houses. We getting land. Are we treating the dating phase or the hookup phase like it's marriage?
Oh, absolutely. It's actually been going on for a while. I know quite a few people. A friend of mine, she said she celebrated her 8-year anniversary, but her and the guy aren't married. Mm-hmm. They got engaged, or basically he gave her a shut up ring.
Right.
It's a difference between a shut the F up ring and an engagement ring. Like,
right. Yeah.
So they've been engaged for about 6 years.
Oh wow!
Wow, it's a long engagement.
See, the thing is, when you can move in with somebody and have kids and pay bills and give the illusion of marriage, you free yourself from the actual responsibility of marriage. So that way, if things don't go right, you can always everybody can go their separate way and claim that marriage not for me when you never really tried marriage. Like you weren't married, you do know that, right?
Exactly.
Oh, baby, let me tell you, they don't know.
They don't know it.
When they will know. They'll know at their funeral.
Yeah.
They'll know when they go down to the hospital and they have maybe they gonna know at their funeral because no more you're gonna be a special friend.
And that
man's family
if you out
his
there,
wife or whatever is gonna take over. I can't tell you how many times I've seen it. I've seen it in my family. So it's all fine and good to the funeral. It's all fine and good until you're in the hospital and you have no say so over what's me and you was just talking about that.
Don't let him be a man with means.
Oh,
yep. And you're not on that insurance policy.
His family taking over. His family is taking over, and
you'll quickly find out how close you and his family are not. If y'all
are not.
Oh yeah, for sure. Portia says, "Hell no, hooking up and dating ain't the new marriage." I know that's right. Jason, are people treating hooking up and dating like the new marriage?
Absolutely, because things are out of whack with regards to I'd rather have a baby than get married.
Right.
And being married has been not prioritized. It's just not important. It's not really so much just the guys, but the women are not as interested by and large in being married anymore. It's just not a priority. It's not preached. It's not sought. A man is considered more of a problem than, a positive thing to enhance your life and somebody for you to grow old with. It's been prioritized that whenever somebody has a problem, just get rid of them. Being married makes it harder to get rid of somebody, and people don't just want to get into it because they've been told that it's better to have your independence. You have to have your independence as a woman in this day and age because whatever trope you can say about men, we're not worth being married to. But get a baby? Oh yeah, let's do the baby thing. Oh yeah, let's hook up. I don't have anything to do. You don't have anything to do. Let's hook up. So that's been the prevailing trend for what's happened with marriage versus hooking up.
Yeah, and if I can say something, if I can say something real quick, especially for the 35 and under, they don't see value in marriage. Like I can't tell you how many young people I'm friends with on social media who either they don't want to get married or they want this weird variation of marriage where the man has his own apartment and it's like, so what do you think he's going to do in his own apartment?
Can I tell you what that's from? I'm gonna be very blunt on this broadcast. And anytime I'm blunt, please understand, I got major data to show our decision to do that to children, our decision to not get married, what it's done to us as a society. I have the data.
Oh yeah.
I have the absolute data. So I'm gonna be very, very, very because we got to deal with this. This is what we're looking at now is, and I talk about this all the time. Our generation, we're the parents of the 35 and under. We did not, we was the first generation to be the baby mama, baby daddy, that we were the first. There was no blueprint before in mass like that, right? So now Meg Stallion, Cardi B, those are our daughters. Offset them, those are our sons, right? And so now they got their kids. And so people in my age range are like, oh, what did we do? And I tell parents, me and Sharice talk about this all the time. I tell parents, shut your mouth till your kids get 30. You don't know nothing till your children is 30. 20s, you're still trying to figure out. You're not going to know what your parenting and their upbringing is to your kids in their 30s, right? And so I'm hearing from parents every day, kids turning 30 and all that. They were like, oh my God, Vanessa, what did we do to this generation? And how can we fix it? Right. So I can't really be mad at the millennials because the parents didn't show them anything. Right.
Right.
The parents showed no values. The parents was down at Freaknik. The parents said, do what you do. The parents said you didn't need a man. So the kids don't do what we say. They do what we do.
We do. Exactly.
So, yeah, that's that. Dietrich,
Yeah.
Are we treating it like
I'm definitely I'm sitting here, I'm listening, I'm paying attention. And one of the things that was interesting when you said from the beginning was when a a young man got a woman pregnant back in the day, you said he married her, and that's an absolute fact.
Yeah.
I've seen it happen. I mean, that's what happened. But this is the rhetorical question, because as much as that actually is a fact, this is the question. What do you think those men who just got this woman pregnant? Okay, you didn't love her, you didn't know anything about it, but you ended up married to her. Young lady ended up married to him. They had children, which is the reason why they got married. They didn't get married because they loved each other. They didn't get married for all of those reasons why people choose to get married to other people. What did those men say to their sons when it was their turn? Did they tell them to do the same thing they did? Or did they say to their sons and daughters, if I could do it over again, I wouldn't do it the same way that I did it? So do we pass on the information? Do we take this information and pass it forward and tell our children that the hard way that we took wasn't the way that they would do it again? And now we got a generation on top of another generation who's doing things a little bit easier than the last generation did, which is probably a part of the reason why we're in the situation we're in right now. Because hey, I wouldn't do this again. So a lot of us passed this information on and made it so, I believe.
Yeah, you're so correct about that. Fiat says some folks don't want to be married, but they're committed to one another. Okay, and good luck with that being a legacy. You see what I'm saying? We say these things, right? And these are all. Let me tell you what we don't do here on I Need a Man, and it's right in the beginning of my book, and this show is based off of the book. This whole movement is for women, particularly, who are ready to be in a traditional marriage. I say it right in my book, and if you got my book, it says if you're interested in sister wives, if you're interested in sugar daddies, if you want to be independent, go to another book. This is not it, right? So for the purposes of this show, if you are not interested in traditional marriage, please tune in, but just understand we're not addressing people who want to do those other things. There's plenty of stuff out there. The narrative is the other stuff. The narrative is no longer marriage.
That's just playing anyway.
Yeah, that's and the thing about it is when real life happens, I want to address something Portia said real quick. I can sign legal documents that hold much, ma'am, let me tell you something. And I got to be very, 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 I'm laughing at this because what people don't understand is that I did a video a couple days ago about when my mom was in the hospital and passing. And I was my mom's only living child. I had every legal document, every power of attorney notarized, every durable power of attorney notarized, every paper I had. What you all don't know who bring that up is these hospitals, these banks, these all that. They say, yeah, we can't take that. You got to go through here. You got to go through there. They really want you to go through probate. Mm-hmm. Anything short of probate is a waste of time. So please stop with that because I've been there, done that. And I had every single thing that I needed. And the banks and the hospitals and all that, we don't take that here. And they don't have to take it. Y'all do know that, right? They don't have to take that paper. The only thing that count is that guardianship, right? That conservatorship. And guess what, sweetheart? If you're not married to that man, his mama gonna say, yeah, no, we're not giving her conservatorship. So then here we go with that again, right? Mm-hmm. I just said the other day, even when dealing with our parents, the only thing in this day and age with these hospitals that count is their spouse, your kids and all that. Again, these hospitals, these banks, I learned this firsthand just a couple of years ago. They do not have to take your power of attorney notarized. They do not have to do that, right? The only thing, you're a social worker, Danny, so you know, the only paper that counts is conservatorship. And if you're not married, sweetheart, his mama not going to let you do that.
Nope.
And it's nothing you can do about it. So let's stop making these papers and these things equivalent to the legal. We're not even talking about the spiritual aspect, right? But let's stop making that because that's a moot point. Been there, done that with that.
If you are not his wife, his mom is not going to let you do
right. That. Nothing trumps spouse. Nothing.
And guess what? A lot of times these men, especially I had a cousin went through this, these men don't be divorced.
Nope.
I had a cousin, like
Yep.
second, third cousin removed. She was with her man for 30 years. None of us knew that they weren't married because he truly loved her, took care of her, everything, older couple. When he died, our mouths were on the floor because this lady we never saw a day in our life came waltzing into this funeral home with a whole set of, this is my family, whole set of programs, and basically took over. He had never divorced his first wife. And so my cousin, who for 30 years lived as his girlfriend, and we didn't know that, was left with what? Shame.
Yeah. Even my aunt, her and my uncle were married. They got married the year I was born in 79. They ended up getting divorced or whatever. And he had a whole girlfriend for 5 or 6 years. And when he died, my aunt got all his military stuff. She got all whatever he had. And the girlfriend, I don't even think she was mentioned in the obituary as a special friend. It's like she didn't even exist.
Nope.
Poof.
I've seen it so, just with being in the wedding business, oh my God, I've seen it so many times, right? So many times. Okay. Let's see. Portia said to clarify, I'm getting married. Good. Get married, child. I just know about these things because I was once living a lifestyle that wasn't legal in the U.S. It wouldn't have allowed me to marry. Yeah, I just went through this, hon, and even somebody's only remaining child. I was my mother's only living child. My mother was not married. I had every document I needed, notarized, all that. They said nope. Conservatorship, guardianship, right? All right, we're gonna look at a clip real quick. Now, I think last week, I don't know who it was. It might have been Mathino. It might have been UD. We're talking about a lady that we know from the 80s. Her name was Shahrazad Ali. Well, there's a young lady now, I think is her counterpart. She's I don't think Shahrazad was in the Nation of Islam. I think she was a 5%er. I don't remember. But this young lady is Muslim. And when I tell you, Sharice knows who I'm talking about. She is savage when it comes to Black women. And it's savage in a way because she's like me. Like, we got to wake up. We don't understand what we're doing. So let's just look at a clip of her talking about bodies. Okay. She's talking about bodies. It's just a few minutes. So I just want to look at this real quick. And then, all right, hold on. Y'all know this is the part to be hard. I be having to share these screens. Jason, you got 2 screens up. Like, you got one screen. For some reason, Jason, you got 2 screens going on. Okay, so share screen. I'm sorry, y'all. Share screen. And there we go. Okay. Where is her tab? There we go. All right. There we go. All right. I did that pretty good, y'all.
Yay.
All right. Listen, it's just a short clip. It's a couple clips, but we're just going to listen to one right quick. That ain't the right video. Lord Jesus. See? Here we go, right here.
Ladies, we are not going to start deflecting to Black men about a culture that you participate in, that you are the main participants in, you the main contributors, you the main supporters, and you're the purveyors of it. First thing is saying men that prefer these types of women, thoughts, and so forth and all, that's a cop-out, okay? Men are only in the market like every other type of customer for what's being sold. What we have to understand as Black women and as women, period, is that we are in control of who has sex, when, where, for how long, and under what condition. We are the gatekeepers of all sex. Anytime it does not involve any sort of assault or forced situation, women are in 100% complete control of who's having sex, when, which one, how frequent, how infrequent, the time, the date. Women are in control of that. Women are the ones that are the biggest contributors, the biggest supporters, the biggest participants in thought culture. Not men. Women ones that gather around in social media to convince everybody that it's okay to go everywhere and twerk, jump on tables, go to Italy, whatever the situation may be, wherever you may find yourself. This is Black women. Black men are not in droves advocating this stuff. The Black women are. Y'all are the ones that made a whole thing, a whole culture out of being an Instagram model. Y'all did that. Y'all advertised it. So how you mad that there was then a market created for what you are willing to sell? Usually a business is happy about customers, or else the business folds. Now, if no man ever paid you no attention, you be sitting there salty. You're the ones that tell Lizzo she can twerk. You're the ones that's running around here making a sexual objectification out of yourself. You're the one that pedestalizes the Cardi B's, the Meg Thee Stallions, the Nicki Minaj's of the world. You do this. You make all the twerk challenges and all the booty challenges, and y'all Black women do this stuff. Make all the nasty dance challenges. Y'all do this stuff. You objectify yourself. So how dare you try to be upset when men come along and say, okay, well, we buying what you selling. Ooh, y'all thirsty. Ooh, y'all No. No. You're the biggest purveyor.
We'll do so.
I just want to show y'all this little clip.
Where it is now, there's not a lot of people that are like, hey, I'm interested, by the way. And you would think like guys are horny, at least they want to, right? No, it's really Sahara Desert. It's like.
All right, we'll get into her other clip later. So, all right, it's about to get a little heavy in here. What do y'all think about what she says? She says that basically women are the gatekeepers to sex, and that this whole thought culture, this whole culture that has been perpetuated, that really, she's right. Black women are the star of it right now, right? That we did that. We did that, and then we can't be mad at Black men when they say, like she said, you putting it out there, so you can't get mad when they buying it. Are Black women responsible for thought culture?
I would say so, by and large. I made a post the other day, and it said, ladies, the more of yourself you allow a man to see, the more of you won't want to see.
I saw that.
Yeah, and it's like, I know a female, and in her story, she basically has her whole breast out other than the nipple. Like, and somebody called her out, like, you inviting all the stuff you complain about in your inbox, right? It's like, kings aren't looking for those kind of women. And, a lot of women today feel like, well, I can go through whatever metamorphic change I want, and a man just, should just deal with it. No. It's like women are the gatekeepers of sex. Men are the gatekeepers of marriage and relationships. So, I mean, unless you into this weird culture with women proposing to men, for the most part, a man is supposed to seek a woman. He who finds a wife, it's biblical. It don't say she who finds a husband. So, a lot of women are influenced by social media and reality TV, and they don't even realize it's so ingrained in them. They don't even realize that it's an influence.
They don't realize how inappropriate they are.
Absolutely.
They don't realize how disgusting it is. They don't realize that they're daughters. See, I always put this in context. When a person say that they cool with something, they can do something that's all cool, I ask them one question. You okay with your daughter doing it? You okay with your son doing it? I don't have to go through all that, right? And so I was going to bring some clips on here of this girl, Suki Hana, but she's so disgusting, I can't even do it. But this thought culture, it's a problem. Dietrich, are Black women responsible for thought culture?
I'm gonna say absolutely, but at the same time, I do want to make something clear. I think that we as men have to take some responsibility here. Absolutely. I do believe we should, and I'm gonna say why. we have to take responsibility, because if men ultimately didn't like what was being presented, there would be no market for it.
Mhm.
If we weren't attracted to it, there wouldn't be such a huge market for it. So the reason why those women, it's such a culture, is because of the way that men have responded. But I do think that there's some misinformation here, because some of these women who are doing it think that that's going to get them everything they want, when in actuality, it's only going to get you a lot of men who are hungry for sex. It's not going to get you a wedding ring.
No,
It's not going to get somebody to want you.
no.
But I do think that a lot of women are confused, because some of them think that this is the way to get whatever it is that they want. A lot of them feel that way,
Mhm.
you know. And what is it that you want? Do you want money? Do you want to use as many men as you want? Because it looks like you can do that if you promote this. So a
Right.
lot of women are into that. It's like, okay, well, I don't want your ring. I want money, and I want a bunch of men to throw that money at me, and so that's the route they go. But for the women who are actually looking for a man, that's not the way to go if you want to get one. But I do think that, I can't be a millionaire selling hamburgers if people weren't attracted or didn't want hamburgers or whatever it is.
And then
Right.
before we move on to the next thing, Fiat says folks no longer want commitment, period. They want their needs met, and that's it. Fiat, and the problem is that they don't even realize that they need more, because they wasn't taught it. They wasn't shown nothing. We got a whole generation now has grew up without God. They grew up without parents. They grew up without family. They grew up without structure. They grew up without order. They don't even understand what they're doing.
Social
It's
media is
so-
their parent.
It's really the nail in the coffin to the Black community. That's the whole reason I'm doing this whole thing right here. Jason, so Black culture. Are Black women responsible? What part do Black men play in it?
The part that Black men play in it is we look with our eyes, not with our mind. And it is attractive. It's a hell of a show to watch.
Yeah.
It's really hard to turn away. And while we govern access to relationships, women govern access to sex. So if the sex is offered, a lot of guys are not going to say no. So at that point, it's really easy to offer a relationship. But if the sex is just offered freely, it just kind of goes where it goes. The thought culture is pretty much all that's driving us right now. There's not a lot of thought towards anything permanent.
No.
Everybody wants something and they want it right now. It's a microwave culture. As soon as I can heat it up and eat it, I want it. There's no thought towards tomorrow. What happens when it's over? What happens when you're done hooking up? When you're done, when you have all these bodies, when you have all these miles on you, who wants you? If you don't get married at some point, if you don't find somebody permanent to sit down with and be with, at some point, you ain't hot anymore. And there does come a time where the value of what you were able to pull, and I'm speaking of the women, what you were able to pull, you can't pull it anymore.
No.
So you've pretty much frittered away what you had to offer, because sex is something really cheap. You can get that anywhere. You can get that for a dime a dozen in some cases, maybe 2 and 3 at a time, depending on what you're offering or what you're
right.
So if it's something so cheap and so free to give away, the thought of tomorrow is not on the table at all for the women or the men. And the men are not standing their ground saying that, no, this is not what we're going to do. I'm going to provide some leadership, and this is the way that we're going to move forward. Not, yeah, okay, let's, bust it open and let's go. And, all right, that was great. Got to go. That's kind of not how we're going to move forward here.
Yeah.
While you on that point, hold your thought real quick. Stay right there, because my boy from the UK, he speaks on that right here. I don't know who was all on when I was playing his clips last week. Jason, were you on when I was playing his clips?
Yes.
Okay. I think we went over this one, but this We got to play this. Y'all listen real quick, and he's going to. And ladies, let me say something to the ladies that's listening. I'm gonna get to all your comments. Don't worry, because this is very, very important. I don't think, especially younger generation, I don't think you all know the state that we're in as people. I don't think you guys understand that this fentanyl is the number one cause of death, ages 18 to 45. It is right now the biggest drug war we've ever had in the United States. Depression, suicide, all of these things, right? Because we're looking happy, but we in the most miserable, impoverished, broken state that we're in. The statistics of children when they come out of divorced homes and single parent homes is devastating. So you can sit up here and say you can take care of your kids by yourself if you want to. There's very clear studies, there's very clear documentation of the damage that it does. And one of the reasons why women are promiscuous right now, right? Because this actually put this in my book. It so intrigued me, is that if a girl does not have her biological, listen to what I'm saying, not her stepfather. This is part of the study. If a girl does not have her biological father in the home, by the time she turns 5 years old, she will have sex much earlier. What we don't understand, people that's listening, is that your decision to bring your child into a broken home is fueling this whole generation right here. This is what we don't want to take responsibility for. And even my brothers, because I got to be honest with you, I get a lot of pushback from brothers because what they want to say is I'm doing my best, I'm doing my best. And again, nobody here to beat you up. But what you got to recognize is that our decisions to leave your husband, and babies ain't mistake. How a baby mistake and somebody coming in raw to you? How's that a mistake? You know that when you lay down raw, you're going to get pregnant. Stop with this mistake bull crap. It was irresponsible, right? And so what we don't realize, there's a whole generation now who have brought these children into this world, and these children are broken, almost beyond repair. Right?
So Vanessa, if I could piggyback off of that.
Yes.
Some of my work that I do requires me to do a lot of rental inspections throughout the city of Detroit. And I've done hundreds this year already. I've done thousands in total. Out of all the houses that I've seen, I would say over 70-80% of them were single Black women with a bunch of kids. Less than 10% were an intact family or a guy with the kids only, less than 10%. And the thing that I found that was common in all of in all those situations is, the less money they had, the worse off they lived, and the wilder the kids were.
Yes.
They would know that people are coming, to do work to the house, to look at the house, to see what the condition of the house was in. And it never failed. There was a mess from one end to the other. I guarantee you there was weed or a bunch of empty liquor bottles. There was dirty panties on the floor, and the bathroom was a disaster. There was weaves hanging up like coats and wigs on the floor. It was just, it was the end result of hookup culture.
Yep.
Out of control,
Yep.
No rules followed, and
Nope.
The kids were doing the same thing.
Let me tell y'all how bad it is. For those that don't know, I'm a professional writer. I don't do this for play. It's not a hobby. It's what I do for a living. I have a client, a brand new client. She's an elementary school teacher out of the Midwest. She's literally paying to write her own book. She's paying me to coach her through writing the book. She teaches first and second grade. Because of what she's seeing with the kids, she said, I got to write something for the parents. She's not funded. She don't have a GoFundMe. She don't have a nonprofit. She's literally taking her own money because of the dire state of the children that she's seeing, and paying me to help her get this book done so she can present something to parents. That's how bad it is. And all we say is, I can take care of my kids. No, you can't. Okay, let's play this clip, and then we coming back. I'm gonna get y'all comments. We can really do part 2, 3, 4 with this. We can literally go for the rest of the month, rest of the year with this, because I don't think we understand, panel. I don't think we get what we've created. And the other thing is, we done lost God. You can't take God out of the equation. So these kids, don't have no God. At minimum, and again, it's no excuse. I apologize. Let me be very clear. And I don't tell my personal business, but I'll tell this. My daughters are 30 and 31. My youngest daughter just turned 30. Oldest daughter 31, about to be 32. I apologized to both of my daughters last year for raising them as a single mother.
Mhm.
Sharice knows the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. Y'all would never, your mamas would never do that because they're too arrogant. They're too arrogant and too haughty, right? They're too stuck on what they did. Why did Iyanla quit her show, Sharice?
Because of Black women. Rude, disrespectful, don't want to receive healing, just horrible.
And it was mainly the mothers, right? Because even the adult children bring the mothers in, and they wanted some kind of apology or something for the mothers, and they would never acknowledge the that, right? And so what I'm saying, y'all, is until we take accountability, men and women as well, for your divorces. Because what I'm finding out, Danny, you can help me out because you're a social worker. I'm gonna tell you what I was shocked about, y'all. I was shocked that divorced kids actually almost have a worse outcome than single. And why with the studies is because they had something, now it's gone. The no dad kids ain't never had nothing there. So with the divorced kids, it's like you took something away from me. Like, what did I do to make daddy leave? Yeah. What did I do there? Daddy, speak to that real quick for me.
Yeah, they feel like
speak to that to us.
They feel like it's their fault. Like they put all that guilt on them when it's not their fault. And a lot of those kids need to be in some kind of therapy, like play therapy or something. And sometimes the parents, they may go through so much pain that they don't realize that the pain that the parent is feeling, the kid is feeling as well. It's a traumatic generational thing on these children, and they take on all of that weight.
Let's play this clip right quick. It's so much, y'all. We got to do a part 2 with this, and then I'm gonna come back and get some comments. And but it's just so much. But this is speaking to what you were just talking about, Jason, about the past. And this is a rough show, y'all. I'm gonna be honest with you, this is a rough show. I'm gonna get to the comments. I'm sure there's some hurt feelings in there, but we don't have time. Let me tell you why I don't care about your feelings. I care about your children. Because right now, with these children dealing with this, do you know the amount of parents that's contacted me talking about, they're telling me my daughter or boy, we're dealing with real stuff with parents. I can show y'all my inbox right now. I'm dealing with parents with 10, 11-year-old children want to commit suicide because, you know, they got a thing now where if they don't like pink, they a boy. This is what's going on in your elementary schools right now. So I don't have time for y'all feelings because I got a 10-year-old grandson. We got a generation to save. We'll do our healing along the way. But right now, I don't have time. So I need as many people to wake up to see what has happened as possible, right? So that we can save this generation, because if we don't, I don't know how much farther our race is going after, like, my grandson generation. So let's listen to this real quick. This is crazy because this is a guy in the UK.
A lot of people, both men and women, in fact, who don't understand why it's obviously seen as a negative by most guys. I've sometimes heard women say, yeah, I've slept around, but I'm ready to settle down now, and my past doesn't change who I am as a person. No, all of this is wrong. You can't just jump off the carousel when you please and think men are just going to accept you for it. It doesn't work like that. Picture, when a woman is in her low 20s, she's going to be in a position of abundance of all 4 of these types of men. She's at her attractiveness peak, so all the attention is going to be on her. There's going to be men with good genetics, tall, strong, good eyes, hair, jawline, and men with bad genetics, weak, short, low testosterone. There will also be men that are good and bad providers. Bad providers, the guys who are broke, don't value commitment, are promiscuous, or at least trying to be. Meanwhile, good providers are men with high ambition, stable resources, and value relationships and commitment. Also, I just want to point out that although not many men in their early 20s are going to be immediate good providers, the key is they'll have potential. They'll be the ones getting great educations, on a path to well-paying, high-status careers. Or alternatively, they may be starting a business or 2 on the side, which are just beginning to get their feet off the ground. Either way, these guys aren't bringing home the big bucks yet. But the potential is key, and their prosperity is likely just around the corner. Anyway, the point is, as time goes by and some women spend their best years partying, going out, casually dating, the pool of highest quality guys dwindles. The good genetics, good provider guys are the first to go as they pair off with other high quality women. In fact, this group dwindles far faster than any of the other three. The beta provider group effectively stays the same as they get friend zoned or placed into the party girl's orbit. The fuckboy group also stays the same as none of them wanted to commit anyway. And the low value men group never changes because they don't bring anything to the table. So by the time a woman is approaching or reaches her 30s, the only options she'll have left are these undesirable groups. And if she foolishly chooses to date the most attractive guys, chances are she'll bump into one of these fuckboys and wind down the bitter spiral saying, guys don't want to commit anymore. They're all jerks. Where did all the good men go? But the reality is, maybe she had chances with the highest quality guys who wanted relationships when she was in her youth, but she declined the offers so she could spend more time partying. Additionally, adding one more point to this, even if there are a few high-value men that are left at her age, or some of the beta providers ascend to high-value men, chances are they'll want to date the younger, most attractive girls in their early 20s. They have the value to do it, so why wouldn't they? Anyway, bottom line, as a woman ages, she'll likely find slimmer and slimmer pickings available dating-wise. And the only men left are going to be genetically inferior beta guys or the same Chad alphas who are never going to settle down.
Whoa, right? That's all the way in the UK. So that kind of speak to what you were saying, Jason. Like that's real talk right there. And it should show a lot of ladies because it's true, right? Your ignorant mama, and your mama is ignorant if she told you this, right? Your ignorant mama told you to have fun in your 20s. Your ignorant mama and daddy and your ignorant auntie and your grandma didn't tell you every single thing you do as a teenager, as an adult, will follow you for the rest of your life. Yeah. Every decision you make will follow you for not only the rest of your life. When you have children and then they have children, what we don't realize, y'all, especially y'all that don't have grandchildren, I'm gonna tell y'all what y'all don't see this, is how you raise your child. They gonna raise their children, right? Mm-hmm. You cool now because you think, oh, my kid good grades ain't got nothing to do with this. When you look into the eyes of a 30, 40-year-old child and then you see how their child, you're going to realize, oh, my God, my decision at age 16 to do this is now on my grand. So here we go to generation first. This is not your job, y'all, right? So your ignorant mama, your ignorant daddy, your ignorant uncle, your ignorant auntie who told you to party through your 20s are trash. Why are we giving girls this kind of horrific information? Because we made a mess of our life. Allow your daughter to play. I wish I would. Even though me and my daughters are just having a more serious talk, there was never a time, even when I was a teenage mother, that I didn't sacrifice and want the absolute best for them better than I had. Do you see what I'm saying? So for your mama to tell you, cool, party, do what you want, and now you seeing that you 30, 35, 40. Now you, because see what happens is, I think Jason or one of y'all was speaking to it, these young girls don't want to get married. Yeah, now. Give them a few years. I know plenty of them. Just last year, I don't want this, I don't want that. They're like, oh, I want a husband and baby, right? But see, now you didn't party, and so now I don't even have nobody for you, baby, because you didn't just went through everybody, right? So it's a curse. Can y'all speak to that real quick before we get to these comments? That chart that we just saw, how accurate is that chart? Is it a kick in the gut for women that always say men not available? But when you look at how he broke down the science, is there some truth to that?
Yeah, men are available. It's more so, are the women looking for those men? It really comes to the question of, if you want the hottest guy in the room, I'm not mad at that. But there's these other guys that are there to work with, what are considered educated lames. So if you don't want to mess with the lame, you want the hottest guy there is, you have to be able to get in his orbit. Okay, say that you do, because again, men guard access to relationships, women guard access to sex. Right. So this guy that is one of the best in the room is willing to give you some kind of relationship and you give him a whole lot of sex. And then if you and him don't work out, you can't stay in his orbit. Now you just go to the next guy if he'll have you. And at some point, just like you said, Vanessa, she's been through the whole troop of all those guys, and the guys that you formerly didn't find attractive, now they look kind of interesting. But those guys are looking, sitting back and watching you float like a bee from flower to flower, letting every guy drop a load in you that can, and you're open to that. And it's like, want
No.
I don't want somebody that's been with everybody.
Everybody.
Guys have a reputation that, we're men, we're whores, and all that kind of stuff. That's not so bad. When a woman has a reputation that she's been everywhere and with everybody, she's no different than a bus. Nobody wants to ride the bus when they can be in a car.
And they're arrogant about it. They're arrogant.
Right.
Sharice, is there some truth to what the UK guy said?
Absolutely, absolutely. That's just like a car. The prettiest car on the lot in the showroom. Everybody wants to look at it. Everybody wants to test drive it. But then as you're test driving it, the
miles.
the miles get on there.
Driving.
And then when somebody buys it, as soon as you drive off the lot, it depreciates significantly. So they don't realize that you're at your highest stock level when you're young, you're fertile, you're fresh, you're new. And so that time is where you can get the pick of the litter, but they don't, like you said, they're thinking like, oh, this is my time to party and do this and do that. And now you're over 30, going on 40. You may have picked up a couple pounds. You got some baggage. You got this, and this. And now you're not as attractive to the man that you originally want, the Chads. They're not, they don't want you. So, like Jason said, now the other guys are starting to look like, well, I want somebody now, but
not you.
Not you.
Yeah, see, and just exactly what Sharice is saying. That's the kick right there. Men can be considered whores and still have some kind of attractive quality to them. But when a woman picks up that label that anybody can get on or anybody did get on, it's like you're just not as you could have been here and now you drop below there because nobody wants who's been everywhere. Because I don't want to mix with every single spirit that you've already swam through.
Right. And I've heard a lot of females make the comparison, like, well, if men can do it, why can't we? It's like, sweetie, it's not at all the same.
It's not the same.
Not at all the same. Like, do you really want to have that debate? Like, a man can sow his wild oats, but if you are, sleeping with this man, that man, this man, that man, and you get to a point and it's like, okay, well, I'm ready to settle down. It's like, nah, I'll pass. Because a lot of guys, I know this female, and this guy was interested in a nice guy, and she ended up kind of curving him and chasing after this guy, and like you said, she picked up a couple pounds in all the wrong spots, and the guy basically told her, like, listen, I don't want you. So luckily, the other guy was still available, and now they married with a baby and everything. And it's just like the right guy. In a lot of females' cases, the right guy is in your friend zone.
Absolutely.
The man that you've been praying to God for, you friend zone 2 years ago.
Yes.
And a lot of females, it's like, and I don't think a lot of women understand this. It's like looks fade. Money gets spent, money get lost. Like, how's their character? Do they have integrity? Do they treat their mom? They treat their parents with respect. Do they treat you with respect? How's their relationship with their kids? That kind of stuff. That your character will outlast you.
Absolutely. Every time.
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of women realize it's like, you ran your teens and your 20s in the ground. Like, I've seen females say, I really enjoyed my whole phase. And it's like, even if you did, why would that be something that you verbalize? Yeah. Like,
they did what they're going to do. They just coming out of it, so they're going to see.
Yeah.
They see.
Like,
But see, the thing is, people don't realize that it is different for men and women because women are made to receive and men are made to give. So it's like you're receiving all of this different seed, and it's just not right. You're supposed to, honor your body and, love your body. So that's why it's different. I know people are probably like, oh, it's, men and women can do the same thing.
Oh, I got some
So,
information. You
we're
know,
not wired
look,
like
I
that.
got some data. Yeah, I got data. Dietrich, what do you think about what the guy from the UK said? Basically the cycle that a lot of women come out with. Where to get men at? Well, you still chasing this alpha Chad, and he not available. Is there some truth to that?
I agree. I agree with yeah, I agree with him 100%. I mean, like I said last time, a man's woman is sacred ground. You are sacred ground. We do not want women who everybody has had. Nobody wants that. You got to understand that is a conversation for men. I mean, when you get to talking around certain circles and men get to having that conversation about the women that they slept with, the best peace of mind that you have is knowing that your wife isn't mentioned in that conversation. Somebody talked about the cars that are on the lot, and it's like the renter car that you get a chance to rent on the weekend. Nobody wants to buy that. I mean, you want the car that everybody wants, but they just can't have it because it's your car. Nobody wants the car where my wife is mentioned in this conversation about this. She gave me this that night, this night. Nobody wants their wife to be talked about like that. And you just don't want a woman like that. Will you have sex with women like that? Absolutely. But she becomes a part of the conversation. Your hat is in the ring to say, hey, look, I had a good time with her. She's a good time, but the people who you value are the ones who are not a part of that conversation.
Right.
And what I think what women don't understand, and especially with me being in the entertainment business, unfortunately, it's some wives like that, right?
Oh yeah.
That got into situations and all that. And ladies, men talk. They also talk to women. So there's so many people that don't understand, baby. Your name is our show next week is gonna be She's for the Streets, because we don't understand, right? While we out here like that. And we did a play about 13, 14 years ago called Church Girl. And we actually had to anything we do, we do a deep study on. It was about basically a young lady, it was based on a true story. The young lady that was an exotic dancer, stripper, and her mom was a pastor, and she came up in that part is based on a true story. But for months we interviewed dancers, strip club owners, Johns, all that. And y'all just wouldn't understand that there's a whole part of that lifestyle that they don't talk about, and that's after you get done off the pole. When that time in your life is over, a lot of those women get on drugs. A lot of them are depressed because they don't even know what to do with themselves, and now they're marked, they're scarred. You know what I'm saying? And it's no matter what they do, they don't tell that part, right? They only tell that I'm getting money, I'm getting this, I'm getting that. But then when that's over, and your biology kick in, you ready to be a mom, and you ready to be a wife, and you realize that you done wasted your 20s. You don't listen, y'all. You don't get them years back.
No,
you don't get them back.
No, don't.
I would do anything to go back. I would do anything to correct some stuff. You don't get it back. And again, it's just not you, and it's just not your kids. The way you raise your kids is the way they're gonna raise their kids.
Yeah.
I want y'all to think about that for a minute. Let's get some of these comments, y'all, and we're gonna watch one more video. We out of here. Cheryl said, let's not forget the men that were extracted from families that has a house, 60s, 70s. Yeah, mass incarceration, welfare, drug, all of that. Yeah. It's so much in that era, Cheryl. It's so much. And what's crazy is, do y'all know right before that era in the 50s? Listen, millennials, Black people were married at a rate higher than anybody in the country.
Oh, wow.
We had a marriage rate higher than white people in the 50s. Now here come the 60s.
I can believe that. They had to figure out something to try to stop us.
Yeah, yeah. I was 80 out. I was taught to be independent, get my education. I did all that. I was miserable. I was told that I didn't need a man. I'm not married. We need to do a whole show. This is my church sister, because we need to. I want to do a show with women about how the church keep you single. That's a whole nother conversation, right? So you got thought culture, right? And then you got the church culture, which also keeps women single. I need you to come on that show with me, Audrey.
Yeah.
I need you to come on that show with me. Let's see here. Sonny says same situation with DMX. Yep. So sad, so sad. Kim says, and if there's no divorce, whether they've been together or not, the wife has all to say about that man, and most women will stay around just that. Yeah, they love that, don't they, Kim? I've seen so many, y'all. This is not uncommon, where the man don't divorce the wife, and he died, and the wife, she just love it. She got her program, and ain't nothing you can do, baby. She's still the legal spouse. It don't matter if they ain't been together for 50 years. Ain't nothing you can do about it.
Yep.
Oh my God, there's nothing you can do about it. Conrad says, I agree. There is no purchase without product. Oops. Right. Just getting some of these, and then we're going to do one more video. Black men are not only responsible, also high encouragers, mixed messages. Show me all your body, but I'm going to marry your friend. SMH, like said last week, pit stops. Yeah. And here's the problem, Cheryl. We got access to the pit stop, right? And we all got to do better about each other. We all got to be responsible. But at the end of the day, I don't like to deal with fantasy. I like to deal with reality. The reality is, if you dishing it, he gonna take it. That's the reality, ladies. And like the young lady was saying, we're not talking about things, rape and things like that. If you open your legs, they come in. Ladies, you control that access, right?
Yeah, and I would even say, you can say partially, but as far as every human being wakes up and makes a choice.
Yep.
Like you can make a choice not to objectify yourself and have respect for yourself. And the thing is, it's not even it's just in a lot of cases it's just fun to look at. A lot of it's like, it looked nice. I wouldn't even touch her. Like a lot of these females that's twerking and making these videos, a lot of men wouldn't even touch them. Like it's just, oh wow, on to the next thing, keep scrolling. So it's just like that kind of stuff. It only captures the attention of the beta kind of men who really can't, who don't have confidence in themselves and can't really get a girl. Like a man with options and something on the ball is actually doing something. That's not really appealing beyond the visual.
Yeah,
I gotta agree with that, because those women that twerk and those beta guys, those low quality guys that are into that, that's low key their porn.
Exactly.
Watching endless twerk videos and World Star and bust it open this and spend your whole check in the strip club. That's their low key porn. They just don't want to call it that, because they still couldn't hook up with those girls that they're watching twerk. But at the same time, those girls that are twerking would never give that guy any attention until they find out nobody else wants them.
Right. And guess what? She's still going to cheat on him.
Absolutely.
With the alpha Chad. She's going to cheat on him, and he knows that. Dietrich, what you think about that? What's going on? Down there in Louisiana, y'all got a little reputation for some things. What's the climate like down there with this whole Instagram culture?
Down here, I think these are our southern ladies down here.
Okay.
These ladies, for the most part, were brought up to be mothers and gentlemen and different things like that in the South. But however, there are the ones who tend to take center stage from time to time because they're entertaining the audience.
Right.
And a lot of ladies feel equal to men. They feel like I'm equal. If you can do it, I can do it. And a lot of ladies feel that way, and a lot of ladies feel that way because of some things that they've been through. So a lot of women are gonna hurt themselves.
Yes.
Trying to get even.
Yes.
And thinking that they're getting even because of how they were once hurt. So I'm gonna get even, and you're not getting even. You're hurting yourself. You're damaging your reputation. But to those are ladies who feel like they're I'm equal with you. We're equals. You could sleep with a lot of women. I could sleep with a lot of men. We could both do it. Some women feel that way. But I would want to say for the most part, The ladies in this area, you know, a lot of them really still are focused on trying to be mothers. All of those who, again, haven't caught on to the ratchet train.
Is that because, you know, when people think of Louisiana, we think of New Orleans, right? So is it a little bit different in New Orleans than where you're at in Shreveport?
I don't really know. I know New Orleans is probably a little faster than Shreveport.
Okay. Look, the ladies on that like, wait a minute, where's Shreveport at now? I'm coming on down. Let's see, Fiat said, even though I have a stepdad, my biological dad was not in the picture. I was promiscuous teen. Well, I had 2 kids. So, you know, like I said, Fiat, we didn't know, right? And then the people that do know, you get what Iyanla dealt with, right? And Iyanla, one of the strong, I don't know Iyanla, but she like a auntie, right? She one of the strongest people I know. When Iyanla said, I'm done with y'all are toxic. Iyanla said, black women, y'all can't be helped. And she said, I'm getting millions of dollars. I'm leaving my show. And it was mainly because of the mothers, right? Kids, even the adult kids, bringing them on like, mama, why you do this? Why you do that? Why you do it? Never even want to apologize, right? I'm talking to millennials and I said, what can we do as our generation? They was like, just tell us the truth.
Yeah.
Just at least start with telling us the truth. But all they want to do is tell me, I did the best I could. Y'all remember Keisha Cole's, I know her mom just passed not too long ago, but remember that she had one of the first reality shows and it was her mom and all that. And one of the things her mom always said, crackhead and all, I did the best I could. No. But what I'm saying is that's all she said. And we get mad, right? We get mad when asked about it. And so we then can't look at Keisha Cole and her behavior. You see what I'm saying? And yeah, you adults are responsible for it, but it's such a cycle. We're gonna look at one more thing and we're gonna get out of here, y'all. We gotta do a part 2. It's just too much with this. It's too much information.
Can I say this real quick, Vanessa?
Go ahead.
An apology can really heal a lot of the trauma that we go through. Yes. Like even the Bible says the truth will make you free.
Yes.
And so if a mother just says, hey, I'm sorry, you have no idea how much trauma that can be released from that child, because a lot of times we take that stuff personally from our moms and think that it's our issue when it's actually the mother's issue.
Yeah.
I mean, just be accountable. If you got a kid and you need to apologize to them, just be accountable to yourself and to them.
What I need to get across, y'all don't understand the whole reason I did this book, right? Is because I don't think we understand by justifying what we did and not telling our kids this ain't the way to go. Now, if they go and do it, that's on them, right? But when you continue to glorify your life, like you got it all together and you all that, and you know what I'm saying, you almost is proud about it. The kid at least don't even have the information, right? And what we had back in the day is things they don't have. Conrad says, my mom apologized to my brothers and I for raising us. I'm telling you, it's something about when the kids get about 30, all these pumping chests. Look, I had a girl the other week. My grandson is 10, right? Her child is younger than my grandson, and she's younger than my daughters. We're about to telling me about raising kids. Let me repeat it. Her son is younger than my grandson, and she's younger than my daughters. And she was telling me about when your kids get around 30, you're going to see what you did. You're not going to see it before then.
Wow. See, at 30 and somewhere past there, you're a little bit older. You're asking more questions. The whole reverence that you have for mama, the unseen golden throne that she sits on, it's not so golden anymore. And you have a little bit of courage in you at that point.
Yep.
I've even talked to my mother about things that when I got older, I always had questions about. And then when I spoke to her over 30, I had to be over 30 to even have the balls to say, hey, look, this right here, I don't get it. I don't like it. I need you to explain it to me.
Right.
And I didn't get any apologies until I said, you know what? I'm going to stand on my square and we're not going to move forward. I don't care if I don't speak to you again until hell freezes over. I need to know, I need to understand, and I need an apology about you. And because I stuck to that, I got what I wanted.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like you said, you're all that is so correct. And also around 30, your kids will most likely have kids, right? That's really when you see. That's really, really when you see. And it's something parents, and I'm trying to talk to the younger parents that got younger kids. It ain't what you tell them. It ain't, because people think, well, I do my hoeing away from my kids. They don't see that. Baby, you don't understand. Skins transfer, energy transfers.
Mm-hmm.
So if you a hoe, baby, your daughter gonna be one.
Mm-hmm.
If you a hoe, sir, your son gonna be one. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. We don't get how serious this is. That like our decisions, even separate from our kids, still affects them. So you have on your church dress and your daughter don't see you as a hoe, and you screwing the deacon every time the church closed. Your daughter gonna be doing the same thing. Because it's energy, it's spirits. It's you see what I'm saying? We think we can hide stuff. You can't hide that. If you don't hear nothing I ever say again, parents, it ain't what you say. It ain't what you do. It's how you live, period. It's going to affect your kids for the rest of their life. Let me just read a couple things, y'all. We're going to have to do a part 2 for this. We'll continue it next week because there's just too much in here. But I want to read this real quick. This going to be shocking, y'all. And this was really conducted on teenagers in early 20s, right? There was a study done by these OBGYNs, child, I got new glasses and still can't read, in neuroscience research regarding casual sex in youth. They have a book called Hooked. Write that down. I believe you can get the book for free. And it's a book really for parents in guiding them through, teenagers hooking up and having sex. And what I think we don't realize, actually men and women, y'all, because you're going to find some surprising stuff in men. It's only a couple pages, is that what our sexual activity as a youth, there's chemicals that is infused in our brain that we never get rid of. There is no such thing as casual sex. I've been saying that forever. Okay, let me read a few of these things. It says the link between casual sex and mental health was found to be the same for both men and women, according to the study published in the Journal of Sex Research. Dr. Claire Camp Dush, professor of human sciences at Ohio University, said that was an unexpected because there is still this sexual double standard in society that says it's okay for men to have casual sex, but it's not okay for women. But these results suggest that poor mental health, she ain't saying you can't do it, but poor mental health and casual sex are linked, whether you're a man or woman. Researchers found that each additional casual sex relationship, so check this out, y'all. Now we're talking about bodies, right? So say you come out of high school, you had one person. Now you're 19, you got two. Listen at this. Y'all ready? Researchers found that each additional casual sex relationship increased the odds of suicidal thoughts by 18%. I'm going to repeat that. Who's a good mathematician on here? In other words, if I got, somebody do this math. If I got 10 bodies, that increases my odds of suicidal thoughts by 180%. Are y'all hearing this in the comments? Do y'all understand that there's no, that what we've done as society? Because what I tell people is I ain't create sex, I ain't create marriage. So I don't debate it. When people talk about they don't want to do this, baby, take that up with God. I don't debate fundamental stuff, right? And so what we did is we took something that God meant for marriage and procreation, and we've made it a sport. And we're looking at the devastation now. And this study is showing you the more bodies you get. Now, doesn't it make sense that all these, and Danny, you could tell us the depression, it's young Black girls. I'm about to quote you something. I believe from the age of 13 to 17 right now are 160% more likely than to attempt suicide. Why do y'all think that is? Let's keep going. It's just a couple pages. However, they also found that casual sex was linked to suicidal thoughts. It did not have an effect on depressive symptoms. Okay, isn't that crazy? So it just went straight to suicide. This is sad, y'all. This study provides evidence that poor mental health can lead to casual sex, but also casual sex can lead to poor mental health. Let's do that again. Poor mental health can lead to casual sex, but casual sex can lead to decline in mental health. I believe I just got one more page. Why did I start at? Do y'all know that was the last page, Lord Jesus? So I just Lord, but y'all getting the information. Okay, so just very quickly, I'm not going to read all this. I just want to read y'all the how they describe the function. Basically, they said the brain is the largest human sex organ, and then there's some triggers, and a lot of y'all probably know this. Dopamine and oxytocin in women
Mhm.
Yeah, and then dopamine and how you pronounce it, Danny? Vasopressin in men.
Vasopressin, yeah, in
Vasopressin,
men.
right? So these are the chemicals that are released during sex,
Mhm.
right? You got to
Happy chemicals.
the yeah, you know what I'm saying, the endorphin, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Right? Once they experience sex, they want to repeat it again and again.
Mhm.
So you thinking you horny, but it's really
You want to get high again.
all these
Yeah.
things working in you.
So
Okay.
you're mad.
It says we have discussed elsewhere how sex is similar to drug, alcohol, nicotine addiction.
Mhm.
It is understandable that a young or older person would want to experience that same rush again and again. The dopamine reward processes in the brain is values neutral. It cannot distinguish between positive or negative behavior. So now what this makes sense, y'all, is that the tolerance of toxic relationships. Do y'all see what they're saying? Basically, once you get to this point, you can't distinguish what's good and bad. So doesn't it make sense in so many toxic relationships now? Because we got all these bodies and we think we cool, but we not. All right. Like I said, I don't read it out of order, but y'all get it. In a culture that encourages casual sex, many people are moving quickly from partner to partner. True or not, y'all? True.
Very true.
Sexual addiction is often the result. Certainly, this is a terrible problem that is extremely difficult to overcome. Yet, those who move from partner to partner suffer even greater damage.
Mm-hmm.
The bonding biochemicals,
oxytocin,
O and V, are just as powerful as dopamine. When two people join physically, powerful neohormones, never heard of that, neohormones are released because of the sexual experience, making an impression on the synapses.
Yes, making
in their brain. Are y'all listening to this?
Yeah.
Casual sex, hooking up, ain't no such thing, sweetheart.
Nope.
There's no such thing. There's no such thing. I want some. Yeah, that release in your brain is telling you that.
Mm-hmm.
Science also affirms a destructive downside to casual sex. The doctors explain every time a person has sexual intercourse or intimate physical contact, bonding takes place. Whenever breakups occur in bonded relationships, there's confusion and often pain in the brains of the young people involved because the bond has been broken. The problem described here is much deeper and long-lasting. There's further evidence when the sex bonding breakup cycle is repeated for many times, right? You give it somebody, you break up, give it somebody, break up, give it somebody, break up. That cycle that you're still doing well into your 40s and 50s. Even when bonding was short-lived, damage is done to the important built-in ability, listen, y'all, to develop significant and meaningful connection to other human beings. In other words, the more you give yourself to a person, the less you detach from humanity. Y'all wasn't ready for that scientific information.
That's good.
Wow. You break. So you wonder why we can't have relationships in our 40s and 50s? When you get with two sets of completely broken people who don't know how to, no wonder we can dump people. Kim said it earlier. We can dump people because we kind of detached.
But low key, you bonded with this person.
That is your husband.
You don't ever realize you bonded with this person. It's not even your husband. It's not nothing, but you bonded with them.
Yeah.
And then you have all these going back and forth. So you end up having cortisol issues in your mind. And so that creates stress.
Yeah.
So I believe that's probably why we have those issues, why you're afraid to, be in a meaningful relationship, because you're stressed out and you're like, I'm not about to put myself through that. That's trauma. All that stuff that you just read, that's trauma right there.
It's trauma.
Yeah.
That's why God made sex for the husband and the wife. It's supposed to be in the marriage bed because of all of this.
We don't. That's old, right? That's
It's
old.
true.
We yet and still. I don't see how millennials brag anyway. Millennials, do y'all understand? Y'all are the most depressed, the most alcoholic, drug-ridden. You know what I'm saying? Your generation is so because it toppled because y'all don't have God as well, right?
A lot of people.
You got all this masculine energy, all this aggressive energy, but it ain't coming out with your kids and you. Just read this last sentence. The two doctors warn, in fact, that emotional corrosion caused by casual sex makes people less than human. It may sound blunt, but if we try to eliminate, listen, y'all, this is a scientific study. If we try to eliminate this connectedness from sex, we remove the uniquely human aspect of it, and the sexual act becomes nothing more than raw animal behavior. Keep playing with sex if you want to. We're going to take these comments and we're going to do a part 2 with this.
Mic on that one.
This is, I Listen, I have to come with information. I don't have time for opinions. I'm cool with opinions, but at the end of the day, we need to know, bless you, we need to know what's happening for real.
Mm-hmm.
So while you gallivanting around and even men, right, taking all these women in front of your daughters, when you take all these women in front of your daughters, what are you telling her? Oh, I ain't worth committing to.
That's how
when you ain't with her mama. I had a situation where a client I had, and he was a high value earner, but his morals wasn't straight. It's crazy because Portia talked about the polygamy. He was a polygamist. He actually had me studying him for a year, writing his story. I know way more about polygamy than y'all think. I actually got paid to write about it. Anyway, he had a situation where one of his kids' mother, three of his kids, he had 6 kids, three of the one of the ladies who had 3 kids by him. She did a lot of wrong. I'm not going to she wouldn't do right by the kids, but he sat her down with his 16, 17-year-old daughter, and he told her, he said, listen, I'm looking for 2 wives, and you ain't one of them. But now you good. I'm still going to pay for the house. And I told him, I said, because his daughter hates him. I said, you said that in front of your daughter? Yeah, I wanted them to keep it real. You done lost your daughter forever. There's nothing you ever going to be able to do to walk that back. What you just told your daughter is that your mama not good. She was good enough to birth 3 babies, but she wasn't good enough to marry. Inadvertently, you ain't good enough to marry. Nail in the coffin. So what I'm saying is, even to my brothers, right, that are casually bringing women around and back and forth, baby, you don't know what you're doing to your daughter. You don't know what you're doing to your son. What I'm saying, people, is I don't have time to play with this no more. I am literally, God had me retire from what I was doing. And I don't get money for this like that. God blessing me with other clients and things for the stuff I do. But I've dropped everything to focus on the kids. And I do that by getting information, presenting it to y'all. And I do a lot of work behind the scenes. There's nothing more important than our children, right? It's not a lot we can do for our adult children, but tell them we were wrong. But this next generation coming up, these 4, 5, 10, 15, those kids, if we don't understand what we've done to them, if we don't understand that we're responsible for thought culture, you done bought 4 or 5 women around your daughter, right? You done bought 4 or 5 men around your daughter. You done bought them around your son. What do y'all expect them to do? Go and get married? You ain't took them to church. You ain't took them to the mosque. You put no spiritual value in them. At what point are we going to understand we did this? It wasn't a white man. White man ain't had you open your legs to every nigga come around. White man ain't have you do that, baby. I don't want to hear that crap. That's that Marxist ideology. You. And we're not beating on the mistake. We're beating on, now you're praising it and you telling your daughter to go do it. You don't need a man. And now you looking at your grandson or your granddaughter. You're like, oh, what did I do? Baby, let me tell y'all something. For those that don't have grandkids, there is nothing when you look at your grandkids and you realize that some of their behaviors is because I put this in my child. There's nothing nobody can say. There ain't a prayer you can pray. There's nothing you can do where you realize you've started a generational curse. I don't have time to play with this. I'm not going to argue with none of y'all. You don't believe in marriage, you can go somewhere. I told God, I said, if I never get married, please let my daughter, please, God. I'll sacrifice mine for my daughter because I don't want my grandson. I don't want my grandson, right? This is serious business, y'all. We've allowed the enemy. We've allowed the lust of the flesh. It really gets down to the enemy. We've allowed the enemy to normalize sin. That's the truth. It's nothing no more. It's nothing sacred. Y'all laugh at it. In the meantime, we got a whole generation that's killing themselves while you laugh, while you take your trips, while you stay flued out, while you screwing niggas on Instagram with your son looking at you. And then when he goes shoot up the school, because remember, he's disconnected, right? How can these boys come up to you? These boys y'all worry about this white boy in Wisconsin. Give a damn about that white boy? Baby, we have assassins on our block. These boys right there, assassins. You know why? They're detached. It can blow your head off. I watched that video of that boy, King Von, the rapper. That boy got out that car. Y'all seen that video? That boy it looked like he was just like, hey man, he got a piece of pizza. Young Dolph, but we don't have to go there. Right on our blog. Y'all, there's nothing more important than getting these messages out. So we had to wrap it in a book. We wrap it in talk shows and all that. I'm not doing this for entertainment. I'm doing it because we need these brothers that's talking right here. I need Kevin. I need Jason. I need Dietrich. What's never going to happen on here is you're going to bring your nappy head on here and debate with men. Not on this show. We need these brothers. We need these brothers to tell us the truth so that we can tell the next generation, don't do like I did. This is everything to me right now, y'all. And I didn't mean to get deep, but I don't apologize for it. Because this is what I eat, sleep, and breathe right now. Because I got a 10-year-old grandson. And the world that he in, the world that Sharice's grandkids in, and Jason, Dietrich, and Kevin, and all that, we having fun, but I don't think we realize we got clothes on their back, we feed them. But Danny, I don't think they have a clue, do they? What these kids, they don't have a clue. Y'all don't have a clue, baby.
Savages.
Done to these kids.
These kids are savages. You have no idea. And I say savage, I mean these young boys are straight jackals. You think the girls are wild? You have no clue until you met these young boys. The lights are on, but nobody's home.
No.
They're strictly to consume. And if that means they got to eat you to get it, they will eat you on the spot.
Absolutely.
Kyle Rittenhouse, I don't give a baby. Kyle Rittenhouse ain't coming on 7 Mile.
Nope.
Not at all.
We raise it. These are kids.
Mm-hmm.
Not our mothers. These are boy, King Von, and Lil Durk. Them are children. These are daughters on the ground with their asses out. Them are daughters. And some of y'all hoe mamas over 40 is encouraging it.
Oh yeah, even when the kids, when they had those videos of the little girl shaking her butt, was like, "Ooh, go, Tasha," whatever. That makes me so mad every time I see something like that, and I've seen plenty of videos like that.
Y'all, it's. I'm gonna take a few more comments and then we're gonna do closing messages, but I don't think y'all get it. We have raised. Jason said it best, savages.
Oh yeah.
And because they got some money, Kevin, right? Because they got money. Oh, we got money, baby. The love of money is what?
The root of all evil.
The root of all evil.
Yeah.
Oh, you cool with your daughter hoe as long as she got money. We what other culture? Help me out, Dietrich. You in the music industry. What other culture got every other song about a stripper?
I can't name one. I really can't.
Or killing, right? Or shooting. I don't know another culture, right?
Milkshakes.
Neither. I don't.
Y'all, we in crisis. And I thank y'all for tuning in, but it should be more than 13 people on here. Y'all understand what I'm saying? And I know I'm shadow banned, so I know it's more than that. We'll get off of here and we'll, you know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna never see the real numbers because I'm very shadow banned. But we having major conversations that we need to really move it in person. We having major conversations. Sharice doing major work in her area. We doing a lot of stuff in private too. Listen, y'all, we working with LGBTQ. We working with everybody. We broken. We broken. And our main concern is getting our own man. I want you to have a man. No, don't get me wrong, but let your daughter get one. You had your time. Get your daughter ready to be a wife. Give a couple of these comments and we out of here, y'all. Can y'all see the comments? Because you know I don't be seeing everything. Fiat, those statistics, oh my God, they are absolutely horrible, but it makes so sense. Relegate to F boys. No, Fiat. No, ma'am. Remember, I was in the wedding industry. I've seen all kind of people get married You got to stop messing with the F boys and get the ones out your friend zone, because I know they're in there because you're pretty, you're smart. Girl, they in your friend zone for yet. Your husband in your friend zone, honey. All right. Kim Carter, mothers who used to pond. Oh my God, Portia. Oh my God. Portia, and I believe Portia's a millennial. I be hearing from the millennials. I talk to the millennials. Millennials call me and they're so upset with their parents. They just saw, they like, Ms. Vanessa, they won't even tell us the truth. Like you said, Jason, got questions. Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. Somewhere, and I'm saying that from the wedding industry. I'm not saying that to pump you up. I've seen everything. Okay, we got friends getting married older than us. So no. Let's not think. Okay, y'all. We're going to. There's so much to this. Let's get this last thing from Kim. Oh, we got so many comments. I hate that I can't get to all of them. The men that appear to be available are married, which are really not available, and presenting some. So is it because he not happy, or men that have some sort of attachment to some woman trying to convince you this is life? I'm not saying it's the men's fault because women allow it. It's just all bad. Child, listen. Amen. Let's not talk about fertility. Oh yeah, and you know what? Let's not even talk about y'all what birth control has done. I got that Norplant back in the 90s. It's one I'm still in me. So the things that the Norplant did, you want to know why these girls is overweight? Birth control. What they're eating. Depression. Show the data, V, because I want to know why it's okay for men to sow their oats and not women. As you can see, Fiat, like the data said, it's they just men to show the mental different. And you see what I'm saying? All right. Let's see. Know a lot of men who are streets and women still marry him, but if a woman has a past, she's damaged goods. Here's the thing, Fiat. We've all seen people clean their life up and get a thing, but women have to understand. Some women they come out of that and they don't even want to clean themselves up. I think that's what the fellas are saying. And right, you can't. And I think the other thing is the realistic thing. You can't now be 45 and coming out of your 20-year whole phase and think you're about to get the top of the chart.
Right.
Nobody's saying you're not gonna get a man, but just I would absolutely do some things. Oh yeah, Kim. Oh my God. I wish I could go back. Me too. Because I had not been through when I wouldn't be the woman I am today. I had to get through some. It's made a grateful journey. God in bed without the good can't get president. Yeah, it's a whole nother thing, baby. Though when you got kids that's your age, so you understand life on a whole different level when you start having grandkids. That's all I have to say to people. Let's see. I remember when I was 17, my granny asked me how come I don't date any females in our neighborhood. My response was because all the girls around there are hot in the pants. So granny said, "How do you know if the ones you date aren't?" I say they don't live around here, so they don't come up and ooh. That's going back to I think what you were talking about, Dietrich.
Yeah.
Yeah, what you were talking about. All right, y'all, let's get some last words. We said a lot today. We got a part to this. It's so bad. It's so bad. Agree, my mom apologized. Yeah, I think you told me that, Kim, that your mom had apologized as well. See, as y'all can see, y'all see how coming to a certain age, you like, oh, because baby, when them grandkids start coming out, you like, oh, what did I do? Jesus Christ. So what's last thoughts, y'all, for this show? We definitely got a part 2 this one. What's your last thoughts about this conversation? Well, let's go back to our question. Has whole culture killed marriage?
I definitely believe it has. I think whole culture is so ingrained in our culture that it's not looked at as whole culture anymore. It's looked at as normal. So I think a lot of self-introspection has to take place. I think people need to look within.
Yeah.
I think we need to, especially in terms of the ladies, be clear on what you're looking for.
Right.
And understand that the decisions you make in fun can affect your future. So, if a husband is what you seek, then you have to learn to conduct yourself as a wife in waiting. And a lot of women don't see the difference in that. There's a huge difference in a hoe and a wife in waiting. A hoe is desirable for men who want to have a good time, who want to get the release, but a wife is something that a man desires, for the forever journey. So I just think women need to be more clear about what they want and surround themselves with women that are
that part
in the area. Yeah, surround themselves with mentors, surround themselves with aunties or whatever. It's sad that a lot of the nanas are gone and replaced with grandmas, grandparents about my age in their early to mid 40s, and that wisdom is either died off or completely ignored because unfortunately, a lot of this generation doesn't have a lot of respect and reverence for that wisdom, either
No.
by us not teaching them or by them just not caring, or a combination of both. But that's my take.
Thank you so much. Who wants to answer the question? Has whole culture killed marriage?
I don't think that it's killed marriage. It's definitely hobbled it for a lot of people. But if you look in one of the spaces on the webs these days, men's spaces, red pill, and things like that, a lot of younger guys are really looking to be married. They're looking to be in committed relationships, not necessarily with black women. They're looking for what they can find that is not out here and just giving it to anybody who can take it, that they consider to be the best of the, you can be conquered by all the great men that you want, but you have to accept that any man that you're looking at to take you permanently looks at
Right.
you as having been climbed and mounted by so many other men.
Yeah.
So how do I have you is it, and I don't dispute the information that you presented, Vanessa. I'll
Yeah.
simply say that it's a question of image.
Yes.
And if your image as a woman is pristine, it's untouchable, it's a paramount, a paragon of what women are supposed to aspire to be, you can't have that image and then at the same time say, well, men do it, why can't I? Because our image can be trashed and we can still be the king of a whole country. You can have a terrible reputation and still be president of the United States. But you can't be elevated from trash to queen if you've already swam in the garbage. So it's not a question of, the other parts about it where you've had so many relationships,
Oh, Jason froze up.
those relationships or those situationships or those Friday night drive-through deposits, that's, you get those spirits, you keep those spirits, and those spirits do battle you on a daily basis
Oh
and
yeah.
whoever you're trying to be with. So
Mm-hmm.
whatever group of men have made deposits in you, they don't go away. So for the women saying, well, men do it, how come we can't too? You can. Just buyer beware. When you partake in that life, it doesn't just go away. So, we face our own dangers as men to look for women because it's our mandate to go and search out a woman, to go and search out shelter, to go and search out food and what have you. And anytime a man hunts for anything, he takes damage.
Right.
But we're built different. So as we're built different, the damage doesn't show.
As
But
much.
when you're a
Yeah.
woman and you try to do what men do, the damage is obvious. You pick
Yeah.
up our bad habits, you pick up our bad attitudes, you pick up masculine personalities, you become more aggressive, you
Yep.
care less about casual sex. The marriage culture hasn't been destroyed, but it's been hobbled. But I think that as people become a lot more understanding about where they're at in their lives, that trend may just reverse itself, but the younger people are already doing better.
All right. Thank you, Jason. Who wants to answer it next? Has hookup culture destroyed marriage?
Well, I'll say that first, thank you for having me on out here, and
Anytime.
thank you for creating the platform. Because I think that for us to get to that next level, we have to bridge the gap between
Yes.
men and women. But I want to say to everybody who is listening, I think what we have to do is embrace our struggle. And I
Yes.
think a lot of the times what we're doing is trying to find a way to get around the struggle. We want the easy route. So sometimes being in an intimate relationship, getting married, those are struggles. And a lot of our parents have told us that they would do things differently
They would.
if they could, and they
Yeah.
would have. Because of that, we've put that struggle to the back burner, and that's something that we don't want to face head on. But a lot of us wouldn't have become the great men and women that we've become if it wasn't for that struggle that we faced,
Right.
that mountain that we climbed, those children that we raised to become great people. So if it's, I would tell us out there, let's embrace the struggle. Let's embrace some of the hard things, and let's meet those challenges head on, because if we don't, we're going to lose a generation.
Absolutely. Thank you, Dietrich. Thank you. Who wants to go next? Has hookup culture destroyed marriage?
I won't say it's destroyed. I think there is some salvaging that will be done. We're going to claim it already. But there is some healing that needs to happen, and there is some self-reflection that needs to happen within our community and within ourselves, and everybody stop pointing the finger at the men, are pointing the finger at the women, and the women are pointing the finger at the men. That's reevaluated, especially because I'm a woman. I'm going to speak for the women, but the
Absolutely.
women need to definitely go inside themselves
Mm-hmm.
and see and do some healing, because you can be that woman that you want to be. Are you the marriage material?
Right.
Are you the best mother that you can be? Are you the best woman you can be? Are you grooming your kid, your daughters to be wives? And are you wife material? And are you, and taking back our femininity, because we had so many years of this single mother and all this other stuff that we're just so masculine. It's
Mm-hmm.
unacceptable. So
Mm-hmm.
just bringing back that feminine side of women and just healing and moving forward, I think that marriages can be saved, because like I have a daughter, I have 3 kids, 2 of them are married, and my daughter, she doesn't have any kids, and she is 20 something years old, and
We
she
about
wants
to, we about to get a one. We getting a husband.
we working on it. But she wants to be married. She's like one of the few, thank you Jesus, of the millennials that's not all out here being a hoe and all this type of stuff. She's real, mild mannered. She wants a husband. So there's hope. So we're gonna just keep expounding on that, and by what we're doing today with these different books and talks and getting together, that the gap, like Dietrich I think said, or we're bridging the gap, and we're gonna become back that strong Black community that we once were, and it just takes one, and we are the ones that's helping to bring it along.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not dead, but it needs some healing. We need to patch it on up, sew it up, and do some little surgery on it. But we gonna get there.
Major surgery. All
Yes.
right. Who did not get? Who did not get?
I definitely appreciate this platform, and like Sharice said, like we can get back together, like the facts that you presented about us bonding and everything, so true. But it is also possible for people to heal. Like there's been studies about the plasticity in your brain being, changed or whatnot, but it takes work, because we didn't get that way overnight.
Right.
And then just like when Kevin was saying, he who finds a wife finds a good thing. You have to be a wife when he finds you. You can't just be out here. You got to do wifely things. And, like Sharice was saying, be a feminine. Sometimes we want to like over talk the men and outdo the man. And, it's not a competition. It's supposed to be a union where, you got your role, I got my role, and we come together and do what we got to do. So I just think that it's possible. I'm rooting for us Black people. I'm about to be 40, and I'm rooting for me getting married in Jesus' name. Okay. So, I love this platform, and very good talk. A lot of learning.
Yeah, it's a lot. And we just started, so y'all please, we're gonna be here every Wednesday at 9, right? Last week we just did like a fest to kick it off and leading into V-Day or whatever. But right now the date is going to be every Wednesday at 9. So I need y'all to tell people about it. Tell people about it so they can tune in. If there's topics you all want covered, inbox me. It'll be private. If you got a situation you want us to present to the fellas, inbox me. You know what I'm saying? We'll keep it private, but what I want to be sure with this particular platform, because you can go out on social media and see all these platforms. It's typically the women doing like this with the men. I'm not interested in that.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, we can learn from each other. You know what I'm saying? And so we honor men here. We honor our women here. I'm not going to have every kind of woman on here that, that's not what we're here for. Can we disagree? Of course. Right. But it's a way that we can, do it. You know what I'm saying? So, let people know that we here, y'all, please, every Wednesday at 9. We may continue this conversation, because we still got a lot to cover. So we may continue this or go into something else. But please understand, at the end of the day, we have to understand where we're at, and then understand we have to go through healing, and understand that all of us gotta. And I was reading some comments on that. I wish I could have got to you where I think Fiat was saying she didn't. I guess her mom kept her biological dad away from her. Do you know how many stories I know about like that? It's so many stories like that. Oh my. It's actually more stories like that than people think, right? The other thing is, I'm just going to throw this in here. We out of here. A little bit over 30% of DNA tests come back not the dad. So a great percentage of people just don't know who the father of their child is. They just don't. So you ain't met your daddy because your mama don't know who he is. I'm dealing with a young girl now. She's in her early 20s. She got out there on drugs and everything. She's prostituting. And second time she got pregnant, I'm a little upset. And she told me, I said, who's the dad? She said, I don't know. So she's on drugs. You see what I'm saying? But she was in an abusive relationship. She was in an abusive marriage. She got married, and she was in an abusive marriage. I believe there's some other abuses and things going on. But that's what I'm saying, y'all. We dealing with real issues. We dealing with real issues, real people, and stuff like that. So meet us back here at 9. Thank you again, Jason, Dietrich, Kevin. I don't know why people's names not on here today. Usually y'all names are coming across here. I hate Mathino couldn't join us, but he'll get us next week. So, all right, y'all. Till next week.
Night, everybody.
Don't forget to get the book.
Good night.
Stay black.
I need man. Peace. Then they get my outro. I always miss my outro. Look, I can't find it now. Where's the outro? Okay, I need a man. There we go. All right. I hope you enjoyed today's show. Help us grow this channel by sharing this video with a friend. Be sure to pick up your copy of I Need a Man, available at all online bookstores. If you have a question, would like us to be a guest on your podcast or at your book club, email us at vlynnbooks